Everyone back yet or?
Everyone's back.
Okay, great. Welcome back, everyone, and we're going to start recording again. Hope you had a great time in your networking rooms. Delighted. I want to jump right into this because we have a lot to cover. We have with us Guelay bin Bil. Oh, I'm sorry. Will you say it?
No. Actually, it's Guelay, Biden-Rosas. Guelay, like the month July. And if anybody's interested, buying me some chocolate. It's also my birthday month, so you know.
Okay, so we have Guelay. She's an anesthesiologist, an associate professor of adult and pediatric anesthesiology at UW-Madison, and founder and CEO of AyrFlo Innovation Labs, a Madison startup that's developing a wireless wearable patch to monitor patient breathing. I'm delighted to say that AyrFlo, which went through the Equalize Startups program, won the 2024 Wisconsin Innovation Award earlier this month in the biotechnology category. Guelay earned a medical degree from Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz, Germany, and completed a residency at Barnes Jewish Hospital, Washington University in St. Louis. She also completed a fellowship at St. Louis Children's Hospital. With us is Nichole Mercier, an assistant vice chancellor for Washington University in St. Louis and the managing director of the Office of Technology Management. Before joining WashU, she was a licensing associate for Boston Children's Hospital, their intellectual property office. Nichole's on many boards, and pertinent to our conversation is a member of the Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee for the Association of University Technology Managers, or AUTM. She received her PhD in cell biology from the University of Massachusetts Medical School. Thank you, both of you, for joining us at the Human Health Huddle. Let's start with Nichole and learn why she founded this Equalize Startups program. Tell us what inspired you to found it, Nichole.
Sure. So maybe I'll just tell people that aren't familiar with Equalize. It is a program, a nonprofit now and a program, so not to confuse you. But the program's really to empower women who have academic ties, or, if they work at a nonprofit institution like NSF that's running a research lab, to really empower them to start companies. And the reason we did this, Kathleen, was because I had been working in this area of trying to understand, why are women not starting companies? Why are they not inventing? Why are they not commercializing their work at the same rate as men? And there's a lot of literature around that. And so we put together in 2014 a program for WashU that would increase the number of women inventors. That's what we hoped at WashU, and we did see that. And in, I think it was 2018, we were asked to apply for an award through the Association of American Medical Colleges. And when I was doing my homework on the women that had gone through our program called WIT, Women in Innovation and Technology, I started hearing what they had said. And I thought, my goodness, if I had brought a junior male faculty through this type of programming, they would have been starting companies. They would have been talking to the VCs we brought in. They would have had, been asking them for money. And yet these women, you could tell that they've made this progress from thinking of themselves as a researcher to thinking of themselves as inventor, but yet there was another barrier that existed there to thinking of themselves as an entrepreneur. So that's what launched the program called Equalize, which I did with my partner, Kirsten Loida from Osage University Partners. And we're in our 6th year this year. So 6 years ago, Kirsten and I launched this. Really, it's a national program that brings women from academia who want to start companies or who are supported by somebody who thinks they should start a company. And we offer them mentorship for 6 months. We offer them a host of educational understanding of, little things like, how do you take a license from the university? What are the really important key points that you should think about? Understanding cap tables, how do you think about banking? So we sort of, we had 17 sessions last year. And it really is to just raise the understanding of how do you think about a startup? And then they have a pitch competition about 6 months after their mentorship begins. And they pitch to investors, and there's a lot of investors that we bring into the room. And then I'll just say one more thing. Last year, we had our first year where we could actually bring all of the equalizers together in person. And we did that in Boston, and it was a really amazing day. And I'm sorry, Guelay, because I know that would have been amazing. You would have loved that. So that's why we did it, Kathleen. I know that was sort of a long-winded answer,
Oh,
but
that was great.
So-
And I'm gonna just turn it over to you now. And
Yeah.
why don't you talk with Guelay about how this all worked for her and
Yeah.
what she got out of the program?
Okay, well, maybe I'll let you start, Guelay, by sort of telling people about AyrFlo Innovation Labs and then how you started it.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. And I'm absolutely delighted to be one of the representatives of the many cohorts that have since graduated. I would like to be the voice for women, women scientists, women clinicians and women entrepreneurs. Thank you, Equalize, for pointing out internal and external barriers. Equalize really is trying to help with the internal barriers, but I would like to speak later also about external barriers. But AyrFlo Innovation Labs is my living dream for the last, almost 10 years. AyrFlo is developing its first wearable breathing monitoring patch for post-operative surgery patients. Imagine this is like a Fitbit, but for tracking breathing health. And AyrFlo is trying to reduce post-operative breathing complications, which shorten patient stays and free up beds, allowing U.S. hospitals to generate an additional $72 billion in upward a year. We are targeting a huge United States market with a patented product and a superbly qualified team. Most people may not know this, but surgeries are the drivers for United States hospital revenues, and both post-op breathing complications are the biggest drag on those revenues. AyrFlo is really trying to make a massive impact in improving the 46,000 deaths that are attributed to that, and also freeing up millions of beds, not only to generate more opportunities for the healthcare system to generate revenues, but to really help other patients who need that hospital bed. And AyrFlo is right now raising $1 million in a pre-seed round. How did AyrFlo start? And then I'm going to stop. AyrFlo started really out of my clinical work. I became an academician. Again, St. Louis, WashU is my first home away from Germany. So when I came over here to marry my husband, it's 25 years and going, WashU became my first place, and I will be forever grateful for Dr. Alex Evers as the chair to see that growth potential in a foreign graduate. That is not a given. Finally, I was living my dream as a clinician, as a faculty here at the University of Madison, Wisconsin, which has become our absolute beautiful home. But halfway through my early career, I noticed a discrepancy. As the supposedly airway expert, even my patients were experiencing these breathing complications. And how am I supposed to then even teach the next generation if we cannot quantify the ever so changing evolution of breathing deterioration? And it was really frustrating to the point that I wanted to buy a technology. It didn't exist. I looked into the literature for 6 months to collaborate with another entity. It didn't exist, at least not to the degree that could answer all my clinical questions, which I use to make a decision. And after 6 months of complaining, my husband just said, listen, I'm done listening to you. You really need to do something about it. So I have my biggest supporter in this endeavor is my absolutely amazing husband. He also the co-founder of AyrFlo Innovation Labs. We have very complementary skills. AyrFlo really is innovating, and I think this is the part where it was really important for Nichole to say, there's many barriers that you grow up as a female, from the day you hit the sandbox, but this potential that you are capable to grow without ever having to prove it first is very unique to women. And I think for me, I've had always very important, very strong mentors in my life, such as my 5th grade teacher, such as my former chair, Dr. Alex Evers, such as my spouse, all men who always showed me to find just one person that believes in you. And fast forward, AyrFlo Innovation Lab has submitted 11 patents to the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation. 4 of them have been issued. And as of this week, AyrFlo itself is submitting their first provisional patent with 108 claims. So I just want to say we're off to an amazing start, and with, World Watch Madison, Wisconsin.
That's fantastic. We just saw Madison go up on this Midwest startup site, so it's exciting. Tell me how you first heard. I don't even know if I know how you heard about Equalize.
Yeah.
And what made you say yes to doing a program like Equalize?
Thank you. I think so. A huge shout out to the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation for many reasons. But to answer your question, it was them. Actually, at that time, that Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, the WARF in short, is our tech transfer office, our nonprofit tech transfer office, who were the earliest believers in this technology. And I can speak to that a little later. But they reached out and said, hey, Guelay, we have been noticing you're a very founder-driven group. Like, my life story is entrepreneurship. Over coffee, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to tell you about it. But they reached out. I went to your session because I was a little bit worried. It was your introductory session. Hey, we have open hour. Let's talk about it. That was in February. And I just loved what I heard about it. And I loved what I heard, how it empowers again us. And so the rest is history. I got paired with Bill Perry, Blue Medical. We're still in contact, and it was one of the most amazing experiences since then.
So we do hear a lot about the mentor pairings are just really awesome. So I love hearing that, and I love hearing that you're still in contact. So that kind of leads to a question I have about what you got out of the program. So one, obviously you got continued mentorship. It sounds like you touched on some barriers, internal, external. Maybe you could just talk about what you got out of it, and if you want to go into any barriers that were lowered for you. That
yeah, absolutely. Equalize. Thank you.
Okay, here's the
and then the amazing part is like what Equalize really provide. I can't emphasize on mentorship. Mentorship is really it's how shall I say, it has to be organic, and in a way Equalize really created that organic mentorship, even though you matched us, so that is not always a given. But what the program really did is it not only gave us the opportunity to learn the beginnings of all the knowledge that is required to understand the entire ecosystem, to understand, as you said, the financial part, the business part, the value proposition part, the legal aspects of it, but it also really taught for the first time, at least, to physicians, like myself, physician scientists, the immense impact of networking. Women are very, very, very shy, or not shy necessarily, but they're taught very early on that, the burden of success is on them. And there's this much higher bar, again, of measurable expectations before your belief that you're good enough to be believed, good enough to be invested in, whether it's at school, whether it's outside, whether it's your confidence, So I think in Equalize, what was so fantastic is not only were we exposed to our cohort, amazing entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, but the immense network that you guys created, not only with our own mentor, but with the other mentors in the room. And that really opened my eyes how little we are taught in academia, from maybe different in other schools, but definitely not in medicine, that you need to step out of your vertical, your whatever your vertical is. I think this is a very academic entity, a group. You need to how important it is to get out. you need to get out of your echo chamber. And if you, and go into other industries to actually learn what your skill set, how your skill sets can be leveraged in other industries, and find mentors outside of it. So that was, I think, one of the most important learnings for me. And then, you know, as you can see, I'm not that shy. I love meeting people. So they usually try to run away because otherwise I will have a conversation.
I don't think it's unique to Madison. I do think, I think there is something comforting when you're so expert in what you do, and being able to talk with people who are also deep experts in what you do, and then thinking about how you apply that, you know, in another way, even though you're still doing something you're expert in, it's applying it in another way.
Absolutely. And I think just the permission that everybody was a first-time founder. All these serial founders have sometime been, they have at one point started somewhere, and that starting point can look different. And I really think it is really important for any founder. I mean, that is the thing. My heart is very big in education and fostering that sense and sentiment into our students, but especially our female students, is it's okay not to know. It's okay to reach out. Here I would like to put in a little plug about external barriers. You're absolutely right. There's internal barriers, how women and men are feeling about their confidence level or their accomplishments differently. There's lots of studies out there, but there's external barriers, 2% versus 98% going woman to man. That is just a number that actually below that has a very deep disease, that is still existing across our society. And one of the big pillars of that barrier, these are external barriers. That's just my reality. I'm a woman. I'm not going to change that. And I like pink and I like high heels. And but the external barrier is that, again, women often, we know that from the Harvard Business Review all the way down to like other studies, that you are often judged by what you have already accomplished. But investment is all about your potential for growth. So I think, I'm really hoping we're in better, I think there's more awareness of that, but all of these things add together, internal and external barriers. But I know there's a lot of amazing people out there. And like anything in life, like marriage, you just need to find the right partners who will believe in you.
I think we have like 1 minute left, guys. So maybe one more question. And Nichole, we'd also really like to hear, I think, about how to apply to Equalize and where to get
thank you, because applications.
Actually, why don't you just do that, because we're almost at time.
Applications are open, so you can go to our website, equalizestartups.org. And you can click on how to become an equalizer, and that will give you all the criteria you need. We look at medtech, therapeutics, digital tools, and physical sciences. And applications will close November 15th. If there's any questions, shoot them my way. Our contact information is up there. The application is so simple. You don't need a lot, but we really do need to understand what the stage of the technology is and where the science is. So I don't want, obviously 20 science slides, but sometimes I don't get enough about the science to know, well, where is it? What have they actually done? Has it gone in animals? So I would say if you can kind of just give that level, and we're happy to answer questions about that. But equalizestartups.org, and we'd love to see some of the faculty that you all know about. Faculty, actually, postdocs and grad students. We opened it up to postdocs and grad students last year as well. And we had a cohort of 30, and they were split 50-50. And where you have different levels in academia of, what are the interactions between postdocs and grad students? We did not see that within our cohorts. There was a lot of amazing interaction. And I think it's because we're taking this knowledge and applying it in a different way. So there was a great learning environment.
Thank you so much.
So awesome to see you today. Happy to hear your story again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you. I don't know how either of you does everything you do, but that's another whole topic. We'll stop recording now, and just for everyone here, you will